Hello? Hello? In the shadows of the darkness. Can you see me? Hello? Yes, okay. Hello? Yes, we're there. Okay, so, I don't feel sorry for him. I never do, but, Stephen did a video for watches. He's done a few, actually. He always talks about watches. But he did one for Dan in America. And it was a while ago. And I do know that he's going to be in The Lost Boys too. But I kind of feel like, you know, he went on this massive waffle about watches. I was in the other room trying to be dead quiet, and all I hear is, watches this, watches that. I was like, hurry up. And unfortunately, he's not in the video. Which, you know, he's been on the hidden room floor. He's like down there with like a biscuit. Or a bit of water in a bowl. Hello? Yeah, like Judgmental Jeremiah. Yeah, hello, Judgmental Jeremiah. Yeah, anyway, off that rant. Yeah, he hasn't made the cut because he talked too long. But then Vampire Mike's came along and replaced him. I was like, could he not got a little bit of a cameo? So, you know, Vampire Mike's laughing at us. Dan, okay, whatever. But here at Lonely Tree Entertainment, we don't like to waste stuff footage, you know. So, I want to shut up talking. And then it's going to cut to him a few weeks ago, and he's going to talk about watchers and watches and watchers. And he might make reference to it being on an American channel. It's not, unfortunately. But he will be in The Lost Boys too. But yeah, bye.
Hi everyone. Hiya. This might work, it may not. Could work, might not work. I'll do for now. Right, hopefully that will not fall over in this video. Right, okay, so hello Sloange TV. Thank you very much for welcoming me back. This is Lonely Tree Entertainment here. My name's Stephen and I'm about to have a bit of a waffle about watches. Now, I'm a big fan of watches. Right, so let me tell you the story. Go back a little bit before I talk a little bit about the movie. When I was young and I was massively into collecting films and DVDs and some hair on my face. Discovering Corey Haim and Corey Feldman movies, they were just, you know, like, oh, these guys are so cool. Trying to find their films in the UK, not happening. Now I realised that I haven't picked the best shot for going, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. We'll do that with The Lost Boys 2. I will also be popping up in. But for now, we're going to stand here and waffle. Getting a hold of Corey Haim, Corey Feldman movies, Discovery, was just not happening, not interesting. The first time I ever seen watches physically to hold and to watch, bearing in mind I live in Durham, UK here, was all the way in Motueka, New Zealand, in Nelson. Alright, that is the big box New Zealand counterpart. And honestly, I remember walking in a video village in Nelson and going, watches, finally can watch it, right? I can finally watch watches. And honestly, it's something that's really weird when you look at the release of Corey Haim movies in the UK. It doesn't really happen. Now, Watches was released. So I'm just going to get these out of the way first. Watches has appeared on my channel. Fast Forward Reviews has its very own Watches episode. So that's the UK. Creatures on the front. Like giving it away. Do you know what I mean? Like what happened to that artwork? It's waving. Hiya. On there it's like hiya. And then that is the German one, which is one of the most retro looking awesome VHSs I think I own. And I've got a Laserdisc somewhere as well. There you go. Completely weird artwork on that. So anyway, Michael Ironside's name checked at the top. So while we're waffling on about watches, it got a UK release about 15 years ago. Red box edition, Studio Canal. Red all the way around, really cool, and then now extremely hard to get a hold of. But that red box is just that little bit extra attention to detail. And it's gone again. Might see the release on Blu-ray, Studio Canal 2, Dibble Dabble, and especially recently have been putting a lot of effort into stuff like Highlander and First Blood here in the UK. Total Recall was another one where they've really put the effort in and putting the box sets. I'm not saying that's not. Joel Goldsmith, Jerry's younger brother, does the score to it, so it's got a like very similar kind of like vibe to First Blood, the music wise, the capture of the 80s. But let's talk about this movie. So at the time Corey Haim is back in Canada with his girlfriend Lala, who was also in Dream a Little Dream. So they're very similar hair. So this might be when he was having his break. So very track this down, you go, right, I've seen Pray the Roller Boys, Lost Boys, License to Drive, Red Heron, this Watches horror, this is a horror, gotta see it. set in Canada. Now, it's based on the book by Dean R. Kuntes, and the book whips the film's ass. It really fucking does. So hopefully you can swear these videos are done. I do apologise. But there, the book is somewhat different. And to be honest with you, this book is really rare to get a hold of. I found this on a rough chance years, and I was addicted to this book. It's very, very different to the movie. In the movie, Travis and Nora, his mum, are son and mother. In the book, the boyfriend and girlfriend. Bear in mind, Barbara Williams, right, who plays his mum and Watchers, also plays his love interest in Oh What a Night, only like 2-3 years ago later. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, like, woo. But again, it starts off. So let's talk about the movie. The movie starts off and there's a little model display that looks all right until one shot hits and you're like, oh, that didn't look too good. Next thing you know, Michael Ironside turns up and you're like, why? He's not in the book. Like, the third one. In the book, the dog is absolutely hilarious. In the book, the Oxcom, number 7, is, he knows he's an abomination. He's actually sad. He can't stop what he's doing. And the book takes place over about 6 months. This is like 24 hours and it's just it's crazier than Pinocchio. But again, you feel for it, and it says there's a lot of urgency, and Travis at the start of the book is gone into the woods to kill himself till he finds the dog. Nora doesn't want to leave the house. She's a recluse. She meets Travis. The dog is a big part, and then they realise there's a problem, and it takes place over time. In the book, you know, the creature's out for the attack. The font watches, you know what I mean? The font went and comes across the screen like that with its retro 80s looking colours. You think, really? And then it goes into it. Corey Haim is great in this. I think he does look a bit pale and definitely looks like he's either on a come down or definitely looks like he's getting a bit away with more than you should be. He looks a lot more controlled like he did in Dream a Little Dream. Going ahead though, his real life girlfriend's in it. Michael Ironside. It looks like it's just been filmed around a nice scenic town of Canada. Really nice locations. The creature doesn't look great, but they do use the point of view quite a lot. Like when the guy's typing out and he's like, who's doing that? And like, can you not see that massive chimp hiding behind that little computer screen? I mean, come on. He's just like, oh, there is some gruesome deaths in it. As I say, it does your stereotypical run piggy when they're going through the woods. A lot of off-camera deaths and stuff like that. And then you've got the fight at the end, and like again, the dog's well trained in it. But there is some typical 80s horrors. But for an 80s horror, it's quite lost over here. As I says, I've time and time again tried to order this in so it's available. You walk in and go, oh, what horror film do you recommend? An 80s gem? I think Stranger Things borrows a lot from that. This is something that should really capitalise on the Stranger Things phenomenon at the moment. For just like, ooh, there's someone chasing us in the woods. What is it? It's a big ass abomination, let's just call it. But if you've seen the movie, it's really worth watching the book, reading the book. And as I say, it is massively like culturally over here. Roger Corman's done it as well. So a lot of people got his big break from Roger Corman's. Obviously this is a Spanish poster. I did turn down American one sheet in the UK. But it was either get that, where I've already got it, or get a Darkman poster. But yeah, for the film itself, I would love a Blu-ray release. It is available. It is worth buying. It does deserve. I mean, one thing that they have completely dropped is from the creators of Nightmare on Elm Street on the front cover, which the original have. But again, I think personally one of the reasons why it was such a flop in the UK was that it's like Corey Haim's your big star, especially at that time, from there being a little box. But to have the creature on the front cover, you don't need it. He was enough to sell the film when it was done. Not too long after Lost Boys, and just before he became the king of VHS in the UK, with stuff like Dream Machine, back end of License to Drive, Dream a Little Dream, Prayer of the Roller Boys, The Fast Getaways. And yeah, that was just so hard to find, and I eventually found it all the way in Nelson, New Zealand. So thank you very much, Dan, for having me back. I will appear in the Lost Boys 2 rant. That gives a lot away on the Laserdisc. Retro funky colours as well, sorry. Lights on there, but yeah. What a weird cover. The hand. But yeah, thanks for having us, Dan. Hope you're all safe and well. And I'll see you in the Lost Boys 2 video. Hopefully it comes out after this. Goodbye for now.
Hello? Talking about being on other channels. I am essentially in Retro Video Gamer X. Because my room, this room 4, like I'm in next door. Did you know that? That's a true story. That's literally his room right there. But that's my room. If you listen, you can hear him. Look, hear that? Hello? Stephen. He's Stephen with a PH, not like my brother Stephen. Actually, he got called Stevan the other day. I was like, you can't even get your name right. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, bye for now.